Hello everyone, welcome to this bite-sized PD, the topics using Google Forms and sites to create a digital escape room. So the learning intention for this session is you're going to learn about digital escape rooms and then some digital tools that can be used to create and share with your students. As the title lends itself to, mostly I'll talk about Google Forms and Google Sites, but I'll also share some other digital tools that I've used, because I'm actually going to share an example that I've created for a digital escape room. So there'll be some other tools shared to help you create a digital escape room as well. And then the success criteria, I'm hoping that you can apply tips shared within this bite-sized PD to create a digital escape room for your students, specifically using Google Forms and Sites. And one thing I think I should have listed as well for the success criteria, I'm hoping you can just be open to the possibility of utilizing something like a digital escape room with your students as a way to engage with the content and even demonstrate some understanding. So here's the agenda for this session. So I'll talk about what is a digital escape room, why use an escape room, and then I'll cover 5 different tips for creating the digital escape rooms. And I'll actually, once again, bring in my own example because I actually followed these same tips when I created my first digital escape room. So what is it? These are also known as digital breakouts. Think about if you've ever experienced one of those breakout rooms where you're stuck and locked in a room and you have to answer clues to get out. It's that kind of idea where you utilize something like a Google form where you have to enter in your answers to clues or riddles or whatever you may have to solve. And the idea is to get all of them right and digitally break out. But this it integrates gameplay and problem solving into any lesson or unit. So it's a great way to connect some things to the standards or what you're having students learn. It's a virtual space. It utilizes digital tools. It has a mixture of collaborative puzzles. Participants unlock clues. And then content knowledge is needed or learned throughout the process. So when we say it's like it integrates gameplay, it's a way to do it in like an educational format in a fun way to engage and interact with content. So why use a digital escape room? I wanted to use these skills that it really reinforces within students. So in terms of planning, students set goals. So they're setting immediate and even sub goals to complete various tasks. And then oftentimes they're implementing strategy development. So they have to plan through what are they going to tackle first? Like what challenges do they want to go first? They may have to change their plan as they realize maybe they've started or they're going in the wrong direction, but it really is supporting elements of planning. In terms of soft skills for students, it supports collaboration, communication, and problem solving. So students work together to share ideas and delegate tasks to solve problems. These tasks oftentimes are more successful when they can actually communicate their ideas and strategies among their teammates. And then with problem solving, students are working through challenges, which encourages adaptability and perseverance, because sometimes the answers won't always be what they initially think it is. And when you see one of my examples later in this presentation, you'll know why, but it really is reinforcing some problem solving skills. In regards to design thinking, students brainstorm possible solutions and test their ideas to see what works, and they may have to refine their strategies along the way. And then it's an iterative process, meaning digital escape rooms often require some trial and error, fostering a mindset of that continuous improvement. For creativity, it requires out-of-the-box thinking. Many challenges may require innovative approaches, encouraging students to think beyond some conventional methods. And then engagement, like the game-like structure promotes playful learning, inspiring students to think creativity, I can't say that word, creatively under pressure. And then with critical thinking, students are analyzing clues and identifying patterns to solve puzzles, which can develop those logical thinking and analytical skills. When it comes to decision making, students need to prioritize and decide like which challenges to tackle first, which may require some strategic thinking. And then I already mentioned collaboration under the soft skills, but I actually would recommend when doing a digital escape room, you're not having students doing it on their own, where it really is a team effort where students must rely on each other's strengths, learning to trust and leverage these diverse skill sets. And then some even conflict resolution misunderstanding or disagreements may arise, so providing opportunities for them to practice some conflict resolution in a constructive manner. So when it comes to creating a digital escape room, there's 5 tips. Write your prompt, create your clues, create your images, create the locks, and then create your site. When I first tried to tackle creating a digital escape room, I did not follow these tips. I kind of went straight to my site and then the locks. And so I've actually realized if I go through this in order, like I really design my prompt, come up with my clues, and then the images, locks, and site, it's an easier process. So I'm going to show you what this looked like for me when I was creating a digital escape room. So tip 1, write your prompt. So this creates a backstory and can hook the reader. So it's just a fun way to introduce it, like hook students, motivate them to engage with the challenges. It can provide context to the activity. It can even make the experience fun and enjoyable. So when I did this, I wanted to tie it to the states of matter. So it was a science standard. And I utilized ChatGPT. So I actually wrote in a prompt, and at first I said, I could have been more specific. I could have said, write a backstory or hook for this, but I wanted kind of just to see what it would do in general. So I said, create a digital escape room to be created using Google Forms. The topic is states of matter, and it's designed for 5th grade students. And the theme is Halloween. So I wanted it not just to be on the states of matter. I wanted it to be connected to a Halloween spooky theme. And so it gave me this text. I'm not going to read all of this to you, but I read through it, and then using what ChatGPT helped me with, I actually came up with this prompt. So it's called The Haunted Laboratory, Escape the States of Matter Mystery. So in the haunted laboratory, a mad scientist has locked you inside after a failed experiment involving spooky substances in different states of matter, solids, liquids, and gases. To escape, you must solve puzzles about the states of matter to unlock the doors before the clock strikes midnight, or you'll be trapped forever. So that's my prompt. So step 1, I came up with my prompt. And then I move on to the clues. So what do you want your locks to be? And you write your clues to be associated with those locks. So when we get to the Google form, you'll see a little bit more what I mean by number and letter locks, but I want them to be number related or letter, whether that's just individual letters or words. I want to make sure that my clues are aligned with learning objectives. So in my case that I'm sharing with you today, the states of matter, varying the types of clues. So using riddles, ciphers, matching games, word searches, visual puzzles, and more. You can incorporate collaboration where team members can share multiple perspectives and share what they've discovered to piece things together. You can add some layers of complexity. You want to think about what your students can do. Don't make it too hard, but maybe not make it so obvious either. Or maybe the first time you create a breakout room, you kind of lean on the easier side just so you can get your bearings and you know what to do for next time. Don't be afraid to use, I should say, real world connections, and then leverage visual and multimedia clues. So I'm going to show you a few of the clues that I made and talk you through my thought process. So here's one clue example, the topic states of matter. So I actually had this where students are completing a Wordle, and based on the answer, they have to come up with what the word lock is. So it's a word. So the topic was states of matter. So the answer to this is actually table. So if they do it correctly and actually get it right, table will be the right word. And at first they're going to think, oh, table is the 5-letter word lock. It's not, but I'm hoping they'll do, this is where that layer of complexity can come into play. They can say, okay, it's table. We're learning about states of matter. Table is a solid. So the word lock is going to be solid. And then I made this just so you're aware, if you're like, how did you make a Wordle? Flippity.net has a really great way for you to make a Wordle. You just say what you want the word to be, and it will do it for you. My second clue, this is where I wanted students to read a poem about liquid. So it's a way for me to have them read something and learn a little bit more about liquid. And as they read the poem, they're being directed to count the eyes. So ultimately, this is going to be a number lock where if you count, so there's 1, 2 eyes, 4 eyes, 1 eye. So that would be the answer. But the hope would be when they first get to this clue, they see the picture, and then they're going to read through the poem about liquid. And if they read the poem, this is what you're hoping they can talk to each other. They're going to say, hey, there are 9 eyes staring back at you. So it's like there's eyes in here giving you a hint, oh, maybe we need to look at the eyes. So this would be an example of one that's not straightforward, but hoping that the students can look at this image, read the poem, and they can collaboratively come together and say, hey, we should try, what can we do with the eyes? One more example I'll show. This was one I actually used ChatGPT to help me just come up with some 4 questions with that Halloween theme. So when I did that first prompt, these were 4 of the things that came. So I actually made this where students will answer 4 multiple choice questions. Once again, the topic is states of matter. It's going to be a letter lock, meaning they have to have 4 letters. And if they look at this, so what students would do is come and answer the questions. So they would know that this is B, A, C, B. Sorry, I think I put it in the wrong order. The hope would be that they actually would find out what the answers are. I'm actually recognizing that I think I put this wrong, but because the numbers are bolded, so it's not just they would say A, let's say it's A, B, C, D, that they would say, oh, the numbers are bolded, so it should go 1, 2, 3, 4. So whatever the answer is for this question. So if it was B, this would be A. This one, I believe, is C. No, B. This one is B. And then this was C. That's why this is actually wrong. So please don't judge me for that. But they want to put them in the order based on that. So just an example, like you can be creative. So it's not super obvious at first. There has to be some problem solving as part of this activity. And then after you have your prompt, you wrote your clues, then you can start creating your images to go with your clues. So I'll get to the Google site in just a moment, but you'll see where I have images. So the idea is that they would click on the image, they would actually go to whatever the clue was or the riddle or whatever I was having them do. So images can have 2 purposes, the hook and the clues. So I actually utilized Adobe Express to generate a lot of these pictures, and I'll show you how in just a moment. You can also use Canva as well. The other great thing about these 2 programs that, yes, we do have full access to in Canyon School District just by logging in with your CSD Docs account. They have a lot of free stock images you can use as well. And then even Adobe Animate can be a fun tool to use. Maybe you make this a clue, maybe just an image. I'm going to show you Adobe Animate in just a second as well. So let me first show you what I did in Adobe Express, because in Adobe Express, they have this generate image option. So I can say, create a troll that is guarding a door. And so it will generate an image. And then as it's generating, one thing I'll point out here where it says content type, you have art, photo. So it's going to come up. That might be a little bit of a scary troll for 5th graders. So create a cute troll. I'm going to say a cute furry troll. Let's see if it makes it not quite so scary. But so because I have art selected, it's going to have more of an art feel, maybe a more cartoonish feel. I'll show you what it looks like if I click on. So that one's a little bit better. I think I would like this one more than the other one for 5th graders. But if I want to do like a photo, this will actually make it more realistic and more of a photo versus a cartoon. So that's how you can utilize Adobe Express if you wanted to create a photo. And then Canva has the same option. So if I go over to Canva, this is where you can use the magic media. I can enter the text. You'll see I have images or graphics based on what it comes up with. I'm going to actually, while it's generating, because I don't know how long it's going to take, I actually want to show you the Adobe Animate. So this is something you can do in Adobe. This example isn't related to my breakout room. It was just an image that's pre-provided by Adobe. And if I press play, so Adobe Animate is a way just to have an image, and they have some predetermined images, and you can actually record yourself and it'll animate it. So this could actually be, maybe I have my taco actually give the clue that the students have to listen to. And this is actually just a share link that I can link out to my students. So let's go back to Canva. So you can see Canva created an image as well. So that's where I like utilizing I actually been using Adobe Express's generate image more than Canva's, but you'll see where they do very much the same thing. Okay, so after you create your images, this is where you can go to the Google Forms and create your locks. And I actually do recommend using Google Forms for this, where you create your locks using the response validation feature, where when you add your question, and I'll show you how in just a second, there's the 3 little dots next to required, and you would want to make sure each question is required. But when you click on the 3 little dots, you want to check response validation, because this is where you can say it must contain solid or whatever numbers you want it to be. And then something I learned, a mistake, I don't want you to make the same mistake that I did, because I didn't do this the first time I did it. You don't want to keep this custom error text blank, because if you do, it'll show students the right answer. So if you don't want them to accidentally see must contain solid, you want to put like try again. So that way they go, oh, I didn't get it right. Let's try again. So let me go into Google Forms and I'll show you what that looks like. So you add questions just like normal. You press the plus sign. I like to make it not multiple choice, but short answer. And this is where I will say it's like a 5-letter word lock. And then I like putting all caps just so they know it needs to be all capital letters. That way you don't get a mixture. And then where it says, right, once again, make it required. And notice I'm not typing the answer here because they'll see it. I click on the 3 dots, do response validation. If it's a number, you can do this. I've been doing text contains, and that's where you can type in solid, make sure it's in all caps, or you can do the numbers and then try again. And so you just keep adding all of your questions. And I'm going to delete this so I don't mess up my form. But that's what you do. You just create your form, give it a title. I added more directions here for the students to follow. And then I added all of the clues, like what the answers of the clues would be. So notice I'm just telling them, hey, this is a 6-digit number lock. It's a 7-letter word lock. No commas, no spaces. I put this on there too, just so they didn't put like a 1 space, 2 space. You want to try to, what can you do to prevent any mistypings or misenterings, if that makes sense. And then after you create your locks, you create your Google form, then the last step is putting your Google site together. This Google site is what's used to really put all of your information together into one landing place. And then something I'll show you that I did as well is I actually used part of my site as part of the clues. So it was part of the lock that they needed to figure out. And the reason why I like Google Sites, I think it's a great option for doing breakout rooms, especially when you're using Google Forms, is Google Sites has a great way to embed and really include your Google Sites. And I'll jump over to the editing side of Google in just a moment so you can see how easy it is to bring things over. But Google Sites is a really easy program to use. So if you click on the image in this presentation, it'll actually take you to my site. But you'll see I actually put some numbers here. So there's nothing really here. There's no directions, but students would realize, oh, there's actually numbers here. I bet this is one of the number locks. So the numbers that they see, they have to then put them in the right order. If you notice when I was reading to you my prompt actually had some bolded letters, some capital, some lowercase. And with this, the word lock was the capital bolded letters. So this wasn't anything like educational, so to speak, but it was part of the clues they had to complete. And then the images, so if they click on the image, it would take them to, so like this is where, if you've never done a Wordle before, I could type in, okay. So yeah, you kind of get the idea. So then once I have table, it lets me know that's the right word. You can see I go here, it goes to my, so just a way to bring everything together. And then the form is here as well. So students could be typing in their answers. So I could keep, let's see if that's, so you'll see rather than telling me I got it wrong, it's telling me to try again. So anyway, and Let me go to the editing form of this so you can see what it looks like. Actually, I think I can do it here. Okay. So with Google Sites, when you're editing, it's once again, it's very connected to Google. So like when I wanted to bring in my Google form, I just embedded it. It actually searched my Google pages. But here's different content blocks, so I can decide what I want it to look like. I press the plus sign. I can upload a document from my Google Drive. So this is where I said it has that direct connection to Google. So you could actually go into your Drive and just embed whatever document it is. You can add text. And so what I did is I actually brought in those images that I created with Adobe Express, and then I made them links to the actual activity. Because once I have an image here, you'll see where I can actually add a link and I can have it go outside. So it's a very quick, definite or rundown of what a digital breakout room is, how to create it. So if this is something that you're like, okay, I'm interested, I want to learn more, or I want help to do this, feel free to reach out to me. My name is Camille Cole, camille.cole@canyonsdistrict.org, and I'm happy to come work with you and even talk you through some ideas. But give it a try, or if you want to even try my breakout, you have the link to it. You can even see if you can get it right. And then if you want relicensure credit for watching this bite-sized PD, the link is here for you to click on. And as always, you can go to our website and view any of the past bite-sized PDs and fill out that form for credit. So I hope you enjoyed this. Once again, please reach out if you're like, I'm interested, this sounds fun. I'd love to help you and help you walk through the process.